Hey everyone, how are you doing? My name is Ricky Rigolato, the founder of Route the Service Platform. It's a sales platform for the commercial cleaning services industry. I am also the owner of Rosalato Services, a family-owned commercial cleaning company. So welcome to Cleaning and Cocktails, a show where I get the opportunity to sit down with cleaning industry experts and share stories, talk shop about the industry. So grab your cocktail, listen in, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. Everybody, welcome again to another episode of Cleaning and Cocktails. I told you I'd be bringing in a pretty cool episode here coming up. This is, I know both of these gentlemen, I'm growing to know them very well, but it's a pleasure for me to bring them on. The show, the emphasis, right, is for the small to medium-sized, to just a cleaning business community to talk to experts, talk to experienced individuals, talk to companies that have grown, the suppliers, the manufacturers, everybody about the cleaning industry is what this show is about, to bring that knowledge, that, that understanding and those years of experience to you guys, and to give you what you need to get off the ground and running, to continue the growth of your business, to get over that hump that you're in. So today it's a great pleasure to bring on Ed and John Selkow. We've got ourselves a father-son duo here. And I'm going to let them get into who they are, right? That's what we first start off, guys. So Ed, John, thank you for being on the show and giving us some time here to really kind of talk shop.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us. So I'll let Ed go first here. Do a little intro of himself.
Yeah, Ed, give us some background for those of us who don't know Ed Selkow.
I came into the industry in the 1970s. As a college student, and grew that first company from there. From there, I went on. I had sold that company, worked for a series of companies, and started a series of companies. I've actually been through 8 startups, 6 where I had an equity stake, and 2 that I did not. And I've also been a senior C-suite fellow on 7 different national companies. So that's just a little bit about my background, and this is just about 47 years now. About 47 years in the industry.
Wow, that is not too shabby, my man. 47 years, wow.
Yeah, and I've done buildings from Boston to San Diego and Seattle to Miami, and all points in between. Awesome,
man. Well, hey, it's going to be fun getting into those years and digging deep back there for us. John, what about yourself? For those of us who don't know John Selkow, give us a little background on yourself, my man.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am the son of Ed, of course, as you already know. I came into the industry when I was wearing diapers. So, there was that. First word was vacuum. Yes. And when I was in preschool, I taught my preschool teacher how to clean a toilet because she was doing it wrong. So, yeah, I mean, that was the early years, recent. I worked for a couple of the largest cleaning companies in the world. Currently, I am working for a franchising company, a cleaning franchise company. Been with them for about a year and absolutely love it. Office pride, they got a great culture, just a lot of great stuff going on within that company. So that's where I'm at right now. So yeah, glad to be here.
Well, guys, you guys have a ton that I want to jump into, and I'm going to go straight to it. Usually, we go back and forth with a couple of stories here and there, but there's only about 45 minutes to an hour here, so I want to make sure I get as much out of you guys as I can. So, Ed, let's start with you as far as, and it's funny because even before creating this podcast idea that I have already reached out to you, right, John, yourself too. But Ed, I'd been talking to you, text messaging, phone calls. You've been a resource for me, right? So, and I know time is valuable, right? That was the first thing you ever said to me is, hey, Rick, time is money, time is valuable. So, let's get to the point, but then let's, again, time. So with the amount of time that somebody has like yourself, how are you becoming a resource for others? And I'd like to start with, I guess, maybe janitorial subcontracting network, right? Because that was one thing that stuck out to me when I first, found you and heard about you. Is there's a misconception on subcontracting, and we could talk an hour just on that probably. But what is it with this network? Because I think you're one of the first that created a network group. But what is it with this network that is your vision, is your goal? If people don't know about it, why should they know about this network group?
Well, the subcontracting network was an answer to the problem of local janitorial operators meeting and being able to do work with regional and national maintenance management companies. We started out actually as a LinkedIn group, and what it grew out of was my own experience working at a national company, actually for a series of national companies that were essentially maintenance management. They performed no services on their own. Everything that they did was subcontracted out. And as somebody that was in a company like that, it was always a problem finding subcontractors, and I mean a terrible problem trying to find subcontractors. You've got a $10 million contract, and you've got half a dozen cities where you can't actually perform your contractual obligations. And so the need for subcontractors was kind of like life and death for those companies. And for me, when I was working in a couple of those companies. So that was that was what started it. But then as we went on, in the beginning, we were about 4 years into it, and the thing grew like wildfire. It was quite amazing, really. And what happened was at about year 4, we realized, I had realized that we had done in excess of $100 million of transactions in the network. And I know that to be the fact because I was called on to do the bids for a couple of national maintenance management companies who were just getting into the janitorial sector. So
okay,
that's how I know that number was in fact correct. But we grew essentially all across the internet. If you type in janitorial subcontracting network, you'll find us all across the internet. But we started out, like I said, on a LinkedIn group. And from there, we went wide and went all across the internet. And so there was janitorial subcontracting networks on Twitter and Google Plus and Facebook, and then a couple of others also. So we were everywhere on a national basis, but there was a number of problems, a couple of which we had created. We actually created some problems that hadn't existed before. And at one point, it was necessary for us to have an alternative to the free platforms of LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and all these. And so we have our own platform now, and it's kind of like our own little Facebook.
Okay.
So it's a total platform. We just launched a free course for our members on data mining, how to turn bits of information, how to turn data into actionable janitorial leads. And so there's the first class is there. There'll be more, and then also we put out probably. And I haven't gotten a recent count, but by the end of the year, the end of last December, we had put out in the network approximately 500 million square feet of leads in approximately 2,000 leads all across the United States for our subcontracting members. Wow. And what the objective is there is that a healthy company makes a good subcontractor. So
Yeah.
what we're trying to do is we're trying to build healthy companies for our maintenance management partners, and that's pretty much our objective, to help
Okay.
build strong companies.
Yeah, I mean, and this is a topic that I talk about a lot within my mastermind groups or, other colleagues, because like I said, the perception when I first became a sub for other larger, prime contractors, or vice versa now, I work with a lot of, I call them affiliate partners, right? I think I've told you about this before too, where, I work with probably 25 cleaning companies right now that manage some of the locations for me across the country. Because I think you hit it on the nail, Ed, when you said, it's a problem for a small size company when they run into an opportunity that is, a multi-state opportunity, but we're not used to, being able to facilitate that kind of work, and you end up losing out on business when you didn't have to if you join a network like this, right? Or if you're open to working with other cleaning companies, there's a lot of value there to work. And I learned a lot of that too, John, actually from my days with CoverAll on the franchise side. Is I kind of look at these things similar. You guys tell me what you think of, I look at subcontracting as far as if you're a franchise organization, you're winning business, right, John? And then you're looking for other franchisees to handle some of those accounts for you. But at the end of the day, it's the franchisor who is almost like a prime contractor. Would you guys say I'm almost somewhat accurate with that kind of a assumption? Where not assumption, but it's, they're in charge of the contract and they're finding other franchisees. But then Ed, on the subcontracting side, like if you're a prime, you're finding other cleaning companies that would be kind of like that. I mean, am I looking at this the right way, guys?
It's at some point what'll happen is that what we've experienced at some point, franchise companies run out of franchisees, and they've got contracts that have to be serviced, and so the overflow of where they are missing subcontractors is where our network picks up.
Okay.
And we've had a couple of real bright outfits that understood what we were doing immediately, and jumped on the bandwagon with us. Yeah. And so the reason for our existence is because of these prime contractors who have been the biggest supporters of
our. So and I like that word support, because the success that I've seen with working with other cleaning companies is the support, is trusting the process, is kind of, creating a playbook that we work with each other for the same purpose of, it's just opportunities. It's opportunities that you are able to build on and grow on.
Well, one of the things, let me just say this, Ricky. One of the major drivers of the subcontracting network is that we've gone from local control and management of buildings to central purchasing. Companies that have 1,000 locations across the country used to have 1,000 different cleaning services. Mm-hmm. And what that meant was 1,000 checks, 1,000 invoices, and so forth. And so by going to central purchasing, it was a huge cost savings for them to go to central purchasing. So central purchasing has been driving the subcontracting network.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Central purchasing. I got my notes here too, guys. All right. So John, like you said in the beginning, you got into this space, from diapers and on, and you're probably, like you said, teaching your teachers how to clean. Now, it was inevitable, I would believe, that you would get into this space. Could you give us, how did you land into the role of, and I want to talk a little bit more about your role with Office Pride too, technical operations manager. How did you land the position with Office Pride? And then give us kind of, because the world of technology, it's ever changing, it's evolving. So what does a day look like for technical operations with an outfit like Office Pride?
Yeah. So, well, I'll go ahead and just go back and let you know that it was never my intention to be a part of this industry. I don't think anybody grows up.
I want to school to be a marketing, a sports agent. That's what I want to school for.
Yeah, there you go. I want to be a doctor or something. But yeah, no. So in college, my father, he came to me and said, "Hey, listen, there's a telemarketing company that's doing this and this, and they're charging X amount of dollars. Can you do that?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I could do that." Because a couple of years prior, I just did some telemarketing. You know, it was tough to find work, you know, in the early 2000s. And so I ended up taking a couple telemarketing jobs. They had amazing training programs, and I was able to just learn as much as I could. And when the opportunity came, Ed was doing consulting. And so he wanted to feed his customers, his clients. You know, a big part of what he was teaching was telemarketing was playing a big role. And so he was essentially just passing along his customers, and they were utilizing my service, which was at first just telemarketing, and then it kind of transformed into a more of a direct marketing platform, but it was exclusive for cleaning companies. And down the road, you know, again, a couple of years down the road, I saw that there was going to be a decrease in the need for telemarketing, not because it was ineffective at that time, but because it was too expensive. There was too much noise going on in the industry and too many people selling appointments, and everybody wants appointments. And, you know, it's the lifeline of the industry and trying to grow your business. And so I moved the entire business essentially virtually, put together a training program for how to find your own telemarketer, how to hire them, how to train them, and how to manage them. And so that was really my opportunity to step away from that marketing side of the industry, and ended up taking a job with, at the time, GCA, when they were in existence. You know, managed over 100 buildings, and, you know, learned a lot. A lot of it was what not to do. Some of it was, hey, this is a great idea. You know, ABM purchased GCA, and just transferred over with them. And then just got to a point where, you know, I wasn't happy. So I started putting applications out there. Again, not really in the cleaning industry. So again, not trying to look for another job in the cleaning industry. And I got a call from, at the time, the VP of Office Pride, who, you know, first of all, I was, before Office Pride, I was completely against cleaning franchises for various reasons. And, you know, when he called me, the VP called me, and he was telling me about Office Pride and how he got my application. And I don't think I was the nicest on the phone, because I had a preconception.
Yep.
He talked me into coming in for an interview, sat down, spent a couple hours with him and director of ops, and really hit it off, really bought into what they were selling. It's completely different from your Janet Kings and your coveralls, because as a franchisor, they do not get contracts, they do not provide leads or anything like that. It's truly, you know, when you join Office Pride, you're not buying a franchise, you are being awarded a franchise. And the people that come into it, they are true business owners, and they have goals and they have dreams, and it's absolutely just amazing to work with them, because it's so much fun to see them grow their business. And we give them the support and the coaching to learn and to grow their business and manage their financials and think of new ways of getting customers. And it's a lot of fun. So even though it is a cleaning franchise, it is in its own class, in its own realm, if you would.
Yeah, and actually, this is
just a great experience.
Yeah, this is leading into actually my follow-up question that I was going to ask you, John. Is, I mean, you're going right into it. Is how does, you know, because I knew who Office Pride was, right? I've seen the company. You guys do great at branding, and, you know, when I'm at the BSCAI, you see the Office Pride group all the time. So it's like, I knew there was something different between this franchise versus others, because like I said, you know, I did come from a franchise organization, learned a lot, got they gave me the tools to what I needed to get to where I am now, but I had bigger dreams, so that's why I ventured off on my own. But with Office Pride, I mean, it's like in the name. I feel the pride that everybody has for their company, and it kind of pours through when you're having conversations with them. But if you kind of touched on what's a little bit different from you guys and other franchises, because there is a bad rap that a lot of franchise organizations get. But I feel like you guys are doing something different, right? I mean, what other things are, I mean, you touched on some, but what's another differentiating factor?
Yeah, just equipping the franchisees with the knowledge that's big. The second one is, like I said, they award franchises. So they're not going out there and people are like knocking on their doors, hey, buy this, $5,000, buy and own your own business. Mm-hmm. None of that. It's, hey, this is what we stand for. This is our culture. This is our vision. And we are looking for true people that want to be business owners. And that's the first, because, you can teach how to clean. You can teach how to manage financials. You can teach all that, mm-hmm. but it's the drive. It's the passion to run your own business, be your own boss. Yeah, that you can't teach that. And so we only look for franchise owners that have that drive, because mm-hmm. we know that that's going to make a huge difference in their lives. And everybody that's in the network, they have bigger dreams and bigger goals, and they just use running and owning a business as a platform to reach those dreams, which is, like I said before, it's very rewarding to watch it happen before your eyes.
I mean, it's got to feel better for them to win their own business. I just remember that was a topic that me and you discussed before too, because I always had the assumption that every franchise was the same, and that they have the sales team that goes out and bids and gets the jobs and then sells the contracts to the franchise. But I guess that is a big differentiating factor then, that's not how you guys operate business then. You guys aren't out there with the sales force landing contracts and then selling the contract to the franchisee.
Yeah, no, they're business owners. Okay. They're out there getting their own business, and
that is different.
We're there to support. So they're like, okay, well, I need help bidding this. And they pick up the phone, give me a call, walk them through it. Different scenarios, what's margin like, how many hours, and then they go back and finish and close the sale and give me another call next week. Hey, I got the job. I need help with the startup.
I feel like that's just a more collective, collaborative approach to winning business, because Ed, on this topic of bidding and winning jobs, right? I don't want to say that it's one of the areas that hurts the industry and, low bidding and all that, but I mean, underbidding and going in and winning sizable contracts at a low price does end up hurting us in the future, when those type of clients, they're just going to get used to those low prices, right? I mean, and then when you actually try to come in, and this is going to be a topic at the end that I have a good question for you guys, is just, how the industry is going to pivot with everything that's going on. But I mean, I guess you could say, the whole franchise organization, subcontracting, I mean, pricing is super crucial for that relationship to work.
Absolutely. No two ways about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, like I said, I got a question at the end, and we're going to dig deeper on that. But I want to switch over to you, Ed, and talk about this Scientific Maintenance Corp. I liked your tagline that I saw on one. I forgot where I saw it, but just the fact that it's a facility service approach with robotics being involved. Did I say that right? I mean, what is Scientific Maintenance Corp?
Yeah, we were the very first facility services company that incorporated robotics, and as a matter of fact, John was with me. We launched about 5 years ago, but this goes way before that. I've been following robotics and cleaning for a very, very, very long time. As a matter of fact, in the mid-1980s, I wrote an article for the property management, commercial property management community about cleaning robots. So I've been watching this for a very, very long time. There was a leader in the industry at one point, and 15 years ago, I walked into their office just, so I knew what was going on. I was an engineering major when I came to the janitorial industry. So this was not a big stretch for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I followed robotics all the way through the years and so forth. And finally, when there was a viable technology, that was when we launched.
Okay.
Unfortunately, part of our plan was to utilize what at the time was the leader in the cleaning robot business, with essentially a floor cleaning robot, and the rest of it was that we were going to have our own robot that emptied desk side trash cans, and this required approximately $4 million of startup capital, which I was not successful in raising. So
I know the fundraising world.
Yeah,
It's not easy, man.
Well, the mistake was that I did it. John would have done a better job. That was my mistake. There's this old guy that's 45 years in a janitor's closet, and with a finance background, and John's got a finance background, and was closer to their age and so forth. So that was a mistake on my part. We had an incredible team, though. It was an amazing team.
Okay. So Ed, is it similar to? I mean, like now you do see some of these cleaning robots that are out. I went to a workshop. I think it was SoftBank. They've got the Whiz.
SoftBank, yes.
The Whiz.
As a matter of fact, yes, I've been working very closely with the folks at SoftBank.
Yeah. I mean, I think they've got a pretty strong initiative right now. I mean, I've talked to the guys all the time, and they're even because it's a lease program. I think what they're doing.
They got it. Yeah, they got it figured out. That was,
okay. It seems like they do. Yeah. Out of anybody, I mean, they're talking about deployment. They're using good terminology. They're looking out for like I have a large healthcare client that the gentleman, I think it's Keith, who I talked to over at SoftBank. He's like, Rick, let's deploy 15, 20 robots. Let you guys, wow, look at that mug. Look at that mug.
Well, you said cocktails, right?
Yes. Oh, that deserves a cheers right there, man. Look at that mug. John, you probably know what kind of mug he's got, but this guy's got a toilet as a mug. That's it. That's stopped me in my tracks right there in my middle of my talk shop session. So I was saying, like these guys, they're talking about deployment, because I think people get afraid of robots because they think they're going to take over our job. But it's like, no, there's so much more human touch that let's allow humans to focus on detail work. Let the robots handle, 20,000 square feet of floor that all is the same layout. And they can do that, right? Is that what you see as the future of?
Listen, these fears are exactly the same fears that I remember very, very, very clearly about computers. I'm old enough to remember when people would just scratch their head and they'd say, like, well, why would a normal person need or use a computer for? And that was one of the big subjects was, well, computers are gonna, it's gonna end our jobs, and we're heading for Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, and and this entire negative vibe about technology. And when you look back at what happened with the computer revolution, it created many more jobs than it destroyed.
Yes.
And robotics are going to be the same. We're going to be doing higher level stuff. One of the things that I'm real big on is has to do with education.
Okay.
It's fairly simple to start a cleaning company, but in order to stay on top of this industry, it's going to take a commitment to learning, and that's something, fortunately, that I've had all through the years, and so I've constantly evolved and learned along the way, and others are going to have to do, or those that are going to survive and thrive and do well are going to have to do that also.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you're talking like learning, adapting, training. Because look at the clean that we knew, 2 months ago is different now, right? So it's like you have to, I sent my team back to another 2 week training course, and all that, like, not that a lot of the things they knew, but they're like the two main things we took away, Rick, we weren't doing. Like that itself right there was worth the time, because now we have new methods, new terminology, new verbiage, a new understanding to the difference between clean and disinfect, and rinsing, and so many things that, I mean, I think, again, now because of what's happened with COVID-19, that was inevitable that we would talk about that right now. Is, it is our time to shine, but we've got to shine with intelligence, right? I mean, we've how do you guys feel about, it's kind of like the wild, wild west out there with a lot of companies. What do you kind of said it, that is, if the ones that are going to last and stay here and grow and expand are going to be the ones that teach and educate themselves. How do you guys look at what's going on in the landscape right now?
John, you got a really good view of this, John. Why don't you take this one?
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's all over the place, really. I mean, I was watching this thing, January 1st, was watching the videos that being released from China, and I'm here like looking at it, I'm like, oh man, this is nuts, this is crazy. Thinking like, all right, well, can it really hit us? And lo and behold, it did. And really the companies that are out there, some of them are doing it correctly. Some of them are just out there, capitalizing on the opportunity, and in 6 months they're going to be gone. They don't understand disinfection. They're going in, they're thinking that they're doctors when they have one of those electrostatic sprayers or any type of special equipment. They come in, and they come in and just start spraying stuff and run out and cash their check. And it's, it's unfortunate because it gives everybody else, it makes the rest of us look bad. And so, yeah, it goes back to the education. It's understanding, the process. What's the proper process to disinfect? And, it's one of those things. This isn't going away anytime soon. I mean, COVID might die down, hopefully, but it's every year it's gonna be something new. It could be the flu, it could be norovirus, it could be anything. And the impact that it has, financial impact that they have on a business when a sickness hits, or if a school, the impact there, it's a lot of money. And so to invest in a cleaning company that can properly disinfect and protect your facility, I think this is the opportunity that this industry has been waiting for, because it's our chance to say, hey, listen, this is how we do it. We are the experts, and this is the value that we bring. Okay, this is the value. So before, we're fighting against people that are going in bidding at $15 an hour. Well, you're going to get what you pay for. That's what we always said, but the customer never really cared. Mm-hmm. But now we're in a position where, we're important. We're vital to your health and your safety. And that takes money to operate an organization that does that correctly. And so hopefully, my hope is that we don't see this whole, lowballing and undervaluing what we do as an industry, and, take this opportunity and really change the landscape for next decades.
Exactly. I mean, you said it, John, as far as the value of clean. And I take that statement where I remember 3 years ago here in Chicago, I went to an event at, I call it Comiskey Park still, and I think it's a guaranteed rate now or something. But I was at the Sox field. Tenet was having an event, and ISSA was there, right? And, the value of clean, the value of clean, the value of clean. And I would always listen, and I would always, absorb the education and all the content. But I was like, man, at the end of the day, I'm like, but my client just doesn't care. Most of the time I was like, man, the client just, they don't know absenteeism. They don't look at the statistics, the percentage of sickness and sick days. But holy cow, in the last 2 months, have my clients more than ever asked about chemicals, EPA registrations, CDC, what's on the label, what's dwell time, Rick, it has come to the forefront of we are having discussions, we're having Zoom calls, we're having huddle ups, and man, shit, if we don't educate ourselves, they're going to become more educated than us. And now it's like, why am I paying for you to be the expert and build a program for me if I know more than you? So you guys are right. It is all about education, and there's a lack of education out there right now. I mean, there really is. There's not enough. So it's cool to hear you, Ed, talk about. I know you've got this. I think growth solutions is something that you've come up with, and I've been following a little bit. Where we need as much education as possible, because that is gonna bring the value of us. Bring the benchmark from. John, you said, I say that number all the time too, $15 an hour, $15 an hour. We are charging 30, 35, 40, but it's not because we want to charge to be high. It's because there's a lot that goes into that. Let us train our trainers. Let us, build an inspection team. A lot of times these clients, they won't, I don't charge my clients for inspections. I do them for the better quality of my company, but like what, Ed, talk about more education for us. This growth solutions that you have.
Let me give you an example. Okay, one of the big examples, of course, comes from the commercial real estate industry, which is really the mother's milk of the cleaning business. Okay, we don't hear this from anybody in the industry. I think I'm kind of the lone voice on this, and somebody told me that. That pretty well summed it up. But commercial real estate is the mother's milk of the cleaning industry. The cleaning industry grows based on what the commercial real estate industry does. Now, when there's nothing being built, we're just trading buildings around. There's no actual growth. The growth of the industry is tied to development. Okay, so watching what's happening in the development, if you care about the cleaning business and you're going to be around for a while, watching what happens in the development community is a critical thing to be on forward-thinking building service contractors' radar.
So more cranes, more cleaning.
It's directly related. It is directly related. Okay, so I would throw the question back. In the commercial real estate world, the move is to smart buildings. What does that mean to us, and what is our role? Okay, big question. And very few people. Now I'm in touch with a couple of folks, but these are the folks that are thinking about this are the people that are doing in excess of $100 million and $200 and $300 million. They're the ones that see this and understand what I'm talking about here. Okay. But for the small independent contractor, one of the things to do is to pay attention to what's happening with smart buildings. Now, where do we fit in? Particularly now with robotics coming of age, and we are of age now. There are more cleaning robots in operation in the United States than anybody right now would guess. And that's only going to grow over the next 2 years. Okay. I
wanted to, let me jump in real quick. Cleaning robots, and this could be for both you and John too, because when a small to medium sized business thinks about a cleaning robot, like I have before, it's a big investment. It's a new thing for me to try to invest in. Should we look at this as an opportunity to present a program to maybe a commercial real estate property management firm that we're trying to bid on, right? Or a large client that we're trying to bid with? Should we put the cost of the robot on the client, or should we incur that cost and then build it into a program? What do you guys think is a good approach? Because if you're a small to medium-sized business, man, this is not a backpack vacuum.
Which you should be doing. Which would, the proper way to look at this is by incorporating robots. How do I decrease the cost of service to my clients? How do I pass the savings on? That's a smart way to look at it. How do I pass these savings on? The savings that I can realize with the robot.
So production rate.
Pass these savings on.
So production rate, right, guys?
Absolutely, it's always about production. That's only what this is. In some quarters, there's something called Ed-isms, which are things that I said that are repeatable. Okay.
That's
But
gonna be the name. There you go. That's the name of the show right here. Edisms.
well, the other thing, and I have suggested that I will get it tattooed on my head, is that the business of cleaning is only about numbers. It's not about viruses and rags and spray. It's not about any of that. It's only about numbers. The business of cleaning is only about numbers. So if we start with that, if we start with that as a foundational idea of what we're doing, okay, incorporate what's happening with technology. And let me just say what's going to happen is that the cleaning companies are going to get bypassed. I mean, one of the biggest real estate companies on the planet just bought one of the largest cleaning companies on the planet. Think about that for a second.
Wow.
Okay. So now you're competing against the people who developed the land, built the building, maintained every single system in the building, and they cleaned the building.
So
okay. So there's no spot for you. There's no place for you.
This man, I could talk hours about this here, Ed, because John, you're on the technical side too. So this is a good question or a good topic for all three of us here. Because how I look at it, guys, too, is about 3 years ago, there was a company called Managed by Q that jumped in, right? And they were a marketplace, a office marketplace platform, right? So in the beginning, I had fellow colleagues who would be like, oh, Rick, why are you working with them? They're just like a middleman. Well, guess what? They're a smart technology platform that a entire building can almost like a menu, just order services for the building that they need. And I better be one of those partner vendors on that platform to be able to be of service to, it's like a lead gen for me, right? So I looked at it as a lead gen. So years are passing now, and you guys know, right? I'm working on the software myself where I am completely giving into technology. Not that it's going to replace us, but you said it, Ed, smart buildings. They are going to want everything seamless, streamlined. The word platform is going to be a part of everything. They are going to leverage technology for every single decision they make for their assets, and their asset is the building. So we better catch up. So so what do you say about this platform approach where we are now becoming vendors on this platform for these commercial real estate?
Well, I mean, this is part of the narcissism of the millennial generation. I heard somebody describe it one.
I'm a millennial. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
I had one of them tell me. I said, we were talking about Managed by Q because I've been watching Managed by Q very, very, very closely since they started. Okay, and in absolute disbelief, they said, "Man, with Managed by Q, you can order a salad for lunch."
That's the truth.
Okay, all right, but look, I mean, listen. There's some of us old guys that were doing that 20 years ago. Okay. And we didn't just send you a box, a styrofoam box with a salad in it. We take you out and we buy you drinks. And okay. So the whole idea that a salad would appear because of this platform, I think was completely missing the boat.
Yeah, but I think you definitely have to, because that's I think why we flourished with that opportunity is we became ingrained with the client, still allowed for the communication to happen between the back end. And, we were a vendor of the platform and so forth, but man, we took it and ran with it. The clients loved us, and, now that, a company like that isn't around, we're still around, right? And it's because of the service.
Think very carefully about what you just said. Okay. Because what you just said was one of the keys. The client loved us. Mm-hmm. Okay, not the little program. Okay,
true. Okay.
Not the iPad. Okay, not the phone. They loved you because of the service. So there was, there's some presuppositions there that we're presupposing that there is a relationship that's being built. Yes, you guys met through some sort of a technical platform. a service platform. Okay,
because there's many of those out there now. Yeah,
there was something that was, but I mean, there was a relationship, and
okay.
and that's what's not new. I mean, that's what drove the business. I mean, that's what controls the central business district in every single city in the United States is
relationships.
All relationships.
Yeah. Okay. Duly noted. Now, guys, taking it to back to COVID-19 right now, right? Back to where we're the situation that we're in today, with the increased spotlight of cleaning today. What do you guys? What's the next 6 months look like? What does the next year look like? Ed, you got a lot of years, and you've probably seen some of these. I wouldn't say pandemics. This is probably the biggest pandemic we've ever been involved with. But there's been a lot of ups and downs. But what do you guys feel like the next 6 months to a year looks like for the commercial cleaning industry?
I'll go on this one. It's a popularity contest. All right. So, before this COVID stuff happened, what was a mister? What was an electrostatic sprayer? It was just an overpriced delivery system, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody really thought twice about it. Now, you go out, you buy it, because let's face it. I mean, I think it was March. You kind of had to if you wanted to compete. So you go out, your customer's saying that this is what they want. So you go out, you buy this machine, you start using it, you realize that you're making a lot of money, and people are coming to you. Okay, so the way I see it is that customers now are going to expect that, and then as a business owner, if you're running a small cleaning company, they're not going to be satisfied with just the sprayer. It's now the norm. We look back and say, okay, well, you clean green clean. That was a thing that was big. Now it's okay, great. Now it's green certified. It's just standard. It's not like anything special anymore. It doesn't get anybody's attention. The sprayers in the past 4 months, and I think down the road in 6 months, it's still going to hold people's attention. But then it's going to be standard again. So what's next? What's going to come after that? What piece of equipment, what technology is going to be used to set yourself apart? Looking at the Wiz, the SoftBank robot, that's an option. It's huge, especially if you're in buildings that, are a great fit. And I actually just had a call with somebody from, it wasn't SoftBank, but it was another company that distributes them. And, he was going through the information on operational cost. And it's pretty much, you got somebody vacuuming high traffic areas for 2.5 hours, on average per night, 5 days a week. You're going to start saving money if you bring a robot in.
No, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of it's a no-brainer there.
I agree.
Yeah, so it's right there. So I see it as it's going to be the race to who has the new shiny toy. Yeah, that's kind of where I see it going.
And that's why I'm really keeping my eye on that kind of a robot myself, just because if clients, and not if, I mean, they already have been requesting us to just detail clean, hit high touch points like we've never hit before. All of a sudden now we are more of a EVS type of approach for like a lot of our healthcare facilities, right? Where we used to clean, overnight, but now they may want us to be during the day, where now, we are touching services more and more often, where then overnight let's just say a robot is in place and knows the layout and just does that work again simultaneously. It's like, man, production rate is just going to get better, and the client is going to get the best type of service possible. But we have to adapt, right? We have to absorb that is the future, and it's ROI. It's basically going to be ROI and how we calculate that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants this better service, this deep cleaning and disinfection, and are you going to be able to deliver on that, maintaining your margins, and without jacking the price up for your customer?
Yeah.
And the answer to that is it's no. So it's up for the equipment people. What can you deliver? What are you going to bring to me that's going to be able to help me deliver what the customer wants at the price point that they can afford and at the efficiency that I need?
Yeah. Ed, so what about pricing though? Right. So it's easy to just come in and like, John, you were saying, people are getting paid more than ever to perform some of these services. So, you might say, wow, I just want to keep making this kind of revenue, but this isn't going to last, that part of it. As far as let's treat the customer with, let's be professional, build a program instead of a one-off. But how does pricing come into consideration for these clients when they are going to expect, disinfecting more often, cleaning to another level? How do we dictate pricing now? Like, how does that?
This is where I depart from some of the other folks that pontificate about the cleaning industry. I am, when it comes to pricing, once again, I'm going to say it again, the business of cleaning is just about numbers. And when we're talking about pricing, the thing to concentrate on for a small company is concentrate on production. Concentrate on production. How do you produce more clean space for a lower cost? Okay. I will tell you that, there's an awful lot of work that goes to the low bidder. And that doesn't necessarily always mean that there is it doesn't always translate into a dirty building. Okay. I was the low bidder on numerous high-rise skyscrapers downtown. Okay. And you know what? I never once cried over being the low bidder after winning one of those.
Yeah.
Never did. Didn't make me sad at all. What it did do, though, was we concentrated on production. We learned production. We've gone from kind of a standard standard industry production rate, and I'm talking about office cleaning, of 3,500 square feet, to where I was in union buildings. Okay, union buildings that were absolutely beautiful and spotless at 7,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm. So 3,500 being the average, you increased
not
to 7,000.
Yeah,
not anymore.
Yeah, right now downtown, I think you'd be hard pressed to find anything that wasn't being produced at in excess of 6,000 square feet an hour. I really do. I think you'd be hard pressed.
Okay.
So as far as the pricing goes, what I always again, what I always do is point to, don't worry about the pricing. Concentrate on production. And so that's where technology comes in. That's where robots come in. That's where the other really big deal for us was the backpack vacuum cleaner. I mean, that was a huge leap forward for us. Okay, was the backpack vacuum cleaner. Okay, going from upright vacuums to backpack vacuums was a big deal for us, and increased production rates.
Now, Ed, what about the battery backpack vacuums? Price point is high, but again, now you're talking about production, right? Like if we're focusing on production.
Always talking about production. And look, there is risk in innovation. Okay, mm-hmm. there is risk. Okay, at one point, I was somebody that would try new stuff. If it would allow me or enable me to clean faster, I would try it. It didn't matter. So at one point in our warehouse, it was a big pile of stuff that didn't work.
I got a couple of those too. Yeah, I'm like, oh man, this thing's the next best thing.
Well, listen, I needed that talking wet floor sign. At the time, I thought.
Oh my God.
There is risk to innovation.
Yeah, no, you're true. That's right. You're right.
Risk to not innovating. There's a bigger risk to not innovate.
Okay, man. Again, guys, because I'm looking at the time, I don't want to take up much more of your time. I got one more one more good, actually 2 points, 2 points here, guys. And add to this if you can, or yeah, just add to it. But from what I've heard, and you've seen me writing notes here. I know, John, you can't see me, but some takeaways I have for the small to medium-sized business owner is leverage technology. Don't focus on price, focus on production and service to your client. I'm taking those 3 away right now. What other tidbit would you say is another bullet point for these business owners? Because these are going to be trying times yes, some are making a lot of money now, but how do we want to improve longevity for these business owners. So what other point, or did I nail it with those 3? Or anything else you guys can add?
In my opinion, you nailed it. Okay. There's one added, there's only one other point that I would add. And that is, it was always my biggest advantage over my competition was creativity, and being willing to try something, be willing to try stuff, and don't be afraid to fail. Try it. If it has to do with increasing service levels, service delivery, improving service delivery, jump out there, give it a try. I mean, I'm seeing some amazing things all across. Now, I talk to hundreds and hundreds of cleaning contractors over a relatively short period of time, and I see amazing stuff. I see great stuff and amazing stuff.
Yeah.
But it's the result of their creative.
They're taking risk.
And it's a risk. Creativity is a risk. So,
John, what about you?
I think you hit all the points. The only thing I would add is education. Just keep learning. And there's tons of resources out there. You're gonna have a lot of people out there, throwing stuff around saying, "Hey, this is the best advice. This is free." Just understand. I mean, you got to invest in yourself, and if that means spending the money, like, by all means, like, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing. You're not gonna regret investing in yourself.
Perfect.
You're just not. So,
awesome.
Join that organization. Buy that book, take that class, do what you can, but don't ever stop learning.
Awesome, guys. This is awesome stuff, man. I appreciate it so much. I like to end you guys with one point that I like to end with is a funny story. So, John, I'm going to let you take this away. Give me a funny story from you in the cleaning field.
Okay, I'm trying to. I got to think of one that's not inappropriate. All right, so I probably had one. Let's see. A couple years ago, I had an employee was out in the field. He called me, like, "Listen, hey, I kind of scraped the wall with the chariot ride on." I'm like, "All right, that's not a big deal. That's fine. I'm sure it's just wallpaper that's ripped." He's like, "Yeah, I kind of fixed it." He's like, "But I still want you to come here." Right? So I get there. He's gone at this point. He's gone. So I go up and I'm looking for the scratch, and I call him like, "Hey, what's going on? Where's it at?" He's like, "Oh, it's over there by the bathroom." I go over there and he took out an entire wall. But I'm gonna give him credit because he used masking tape to hold up the wall.
Oh my God.
So the client came in the next day. I told them, it was their first thing they saw in the morning, their email and text messages, and they had a good laugh over it, luckily. But that's the most funniest and clean experience in the industry.
That's hilarious. Ed, what about you?
Oh, that was probably the time when there was, and I'm having difficulty envisioning exactly how it happened, but came in. Client calls me and says, "Look," says, "not sure exactly what went on here, but the toilet is broken." I said, "Well, what do you mean broken?" He says, "Look, I'm saying, like, it's like completely smashed, And of course they were suspecting that it was the cleaning. Suspected that it was a cleaning service.
Cleaning people, it's always our fault.
But they couldn't be sure because they didn't have anything to go on.
I got too many. I've already told all my stories. This is 8th episode. You don't even want to know how many stories I've got. But you guys, I thank you guys so much. I always end with the cheers. John, you give us you can give us a over the phone cheers. But Ed, let me get a cheers here, my man.
Here we go.
This has been great stuff, you guys. I appreciate it. You guys don't understand how many nuggets this is. I'm gonna swig here real quick here. But guys, appreciate it again. Like I said, John, I know I'll be seeing you at the ISSA show or the BSCI show here in Chicago. Ed, I hope you come. But I know I've asked you a couple times. You're like, Rick, I've been there so many times. If you do come,
listen.
It's my hometown, though. It's my hometown. Come on.
Listen, if I never have to go through TSA again, man, I'll be just. I did an awful lot of traveling. So.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thank you again, guys. I appreciate it. It's been an awesome time here with you guys. A lot of nuggets. I'll talk to you guys in the future as we always do. But until then, enjoy the weekend. And thank you guys. I appreciate it.